So what's going on, everybody? This is going to be kind of a, let me cut this off for right now. It's going to be kind of a weird live video. I'm not really set up to do this properly, um, but I'm not really set up to do anything that I do properly, and I do it anyway. So the point of me going live tonight, I'm going to do some coil pics, really some wire porn, and then I've got something that I want to try for some dark horse coil pics. Hey Ashley, what's going on? Thank you for popping in and reminding me that I need to get my team chat up, or not team chat, my the chat for the live. So I'm going to be kind of in and out of frame as like explain what I'm doing with the camera. There's going to be a lot of movement. So if you're prone to motion sickness, maybe this is not the live for you. Let's see. I'm going to chat under my account. Let me get over there, get everything set up. I wanted to give everybody a couple of minutes to get in. I know we don't have, we have like 120, 130 maybe subscribers. This is starting a little late even for me. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. All right, I'm gonna pop a. It's hard to hear me though. Okay, that's good to know. Let's see. Is that any better? All I'm really gonna be able to do, other than that, is put on headphones, which is really going to impede me moving around. Awesome. I'm glad that this would be. First of all, I shoot manual photo stacks, which means that I have this lovely piece of equipment here, which you can see allows me to move my camera closer or farther away from my subject. Now I can even finer. What's going on, Jesse? So yeah, so product photography and like macro. Sorry, the glare off of my glasses is bothering me. Product photography and macro photography are two very different things. A lot of the same aspects go into it, like knowing your ISO, how to control different aspects of the camera. That's all something I highly, highly, highly recommend. Anybody who is new to shooting with a DSLR, the very, very first thing that you should do is they all have a little rotator switch over here. It'll have like a usually it's a picture of like a frame with a feminine figure in it with like a derby hat or something. Then you'll have a mountain range and all this other shit, right? And these are presets. Uh, Never, ever, 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 ever will you learn anything shooting in a preset mode. The only exception to that is doing like shutter priority or aperture priority. Uh, so the number one thing that you can do that will better your photography right out of the gate is going to be get into that M mode. Get into full manual, play around, take some really, really crappy pictures, and figure out why they're crappy. Is it overexposed? Was your exposure way too long? Were you trying to take a long exposure and your ISO still too high? Should you bump up your exposure, cut your ISO? Uh, I'm probably speaking Chinese to a lot of you out there that are shooting with a cell phone and macro clip. However, there are great camera apps that you can get on both Android and Apple that will let you manually control those things. The cameras that are put into smartphones are not designed to be uh, as wide range as like a to see you made it in, man. So I'm actually using my kit lens, my 18 to 55 millimeter Nikkor slash Nikon, basically the same thing. Um, and then I've got two of the three extension tubes that I have on there. Those two are a little shorter than this one. These are amazing if you're broke. Because what this does is it will shorten your distance that you can get to the subject and still be within the range that you can focus for whatever lens that you're using. There is a lot involved in getting perfect pictures. I have not yet gotten a perfect picture. As you can see, I don't have thousands of dollars of lighting. This is a $40 speed light off of Amazon. I think the controller that I got for it was about somewhere between 10 and 15 bucks. This is a job light, an aluminum housing job light from Home Depot. It's got a ceramic base on it. This was like $8. I have two of those. I actually don't have 5500K LEDs in here. I looked at the packaging again, and they are 5000K, and that's your warmth to coolness. More cool is more bluish white. More warm, think more yellow and red. So you want 5500 is essentially daylight. So you'll have a little bit of yellow in the light. Like when I cut this on, it's well, it's going to be overexposed because it's trying to get my face in there. But there is a tiny little tinge of yellow. It mostly looks white. It shows up really good. I wouldn't, if you find a 5000K light and a 55K light and the price difference is drastic, unless the 5500 is a photography made CFL that's going to be about like this long, this fat, just go with the 5000. It'll work just fine. If any of my pictures in the last 3 months now, I think, that I've had this camera, if any of the pictures in the last 3 months look decent to you, they were shot almost exclusively with two of these. I've got one that's right over here giving me light so that you guys can see me. So yeah, let's see. First I need to switch over to live chat, and that might help. I'm going to kind of get right into it. There's going to be a lot of fuckery with the camera on this one so that I can actually show you what I'm doing. It's the only, I mean, that's the only way that I know how to do it. I don't have a film crew. I don't have assistants or anything, so I can't have them walking around kind of filming as I'm shooting. But yes, the 12 and 24 millimeter extension tubes shorten the, they don't shorten the focal length. Well, they don't shorten the depth of field. They do actually shorten the focal length. What the focal length is the distance from lens to subject. So this would be your focal length, and then depth of field would be when you take the picture, how much of that is in focus. Do I only have just the foreground of it in focus, or do I have a good length of that wire in focus, or is it just the far end of the wire that I can see? Now, the way that I shoot is a process called focus stacking. It's painfully tedious if you're using a manual focus rail, or if you have pretty much any Nikon that is not a super expensive Nikon, because Helicon Focus and Helicon Focus will work. But Helicon Remote, which is an amazing software that takes pretty much all of the guesswork and the manual, tedious moving the camera a cunt hair at a time, and then taking 1.5 million pictures to stack them all. It handles all of that for you. You set basically You set the beginning point where you want in focus, and then you pick the farthest point from the camera that you still want to maintain in focus. And what Helicon Remote will do is it will take over control of your camera, and it will shoot that image stack for you. Uh, the great thing about that is it is infinitely quicker. The only downside to that is it's a computer program, right? It's not human eyes. You don't have human eyes on each image that it's taking and being able to make adjustments and say, no, I don't like that one, delete it, go back one step. I'm gonna set it, take that image, and then you have way more control because I can move this thing that much. I can move it that much. It depends on what I'm seeing both in live view and through the viewfinder uh, as to where I think each one of my steps needs to be. So let's see. Have you not had a look? Young Nuo products. Young Nuo, no, not really. They have. I've seen like one or two things from them, but I think what I saw from them was like speed lights and stuff. I know as far as lenses go, usually you're like kind of cheaper range, but still quality lenses. You'd be looking at like well, Sigma's not really cheaper range, but like Tamron and shit, there's another one. I actually have I have a Quanta Ray. These are old as dirt apparently. This is a 70 to 300, and it also has a little macro mode. The only downside to that is the closest that I can get in to focus leaves me with a 1:2 ratio, meaning that it's only representing that image that I took is half of life size. So even though I might get up really close, I can get fairly good images with it. The downside there is going to be because I'm so far away with that one, and it's a 1:2. I'm gonna have to crop really hard. Uh, for example, if it was an Instagram post, um, it's gonna be cropped to the point that it's not just resolution that you're losing. It's gonna be distorted as shit. It's just not gonna look good. I have tried that one with the tubes on it. The issue with that is that is not a autofocus lens. These rings are set up. These extension tubes are set up to use with a manual focus or an autofocus rather, and because of that, if I use these with that lens, I actually damage the I can't remember the proper name for it, the focal ring on it. As it slides in and out, it's basically scraping against these pegs that are on here, and so it's not good for the lens at all. If it was an autofocus lens, I could absolutely do that. Yes, I have the what is it, the WU whatever, the wireless adapter that will plug in there, and then I can shoot it straight to my phone. I can shoot it straight to my PC because the way that I have to do it now is kind of archaic. I have to basically get them on my PC, and then my PC sucks balls, so I then email them as Dropbox attachments to myself, and then NEF, or really I don't think any RAW file is supported on any standard app on the iPhone, so then I have to open it in Dropbox and export it directly to Lightroom Mobile, at which point it will recognize it as a RAW image. The downside of that is I don't get to play with each RAW image before they're like, well, no, I take that back because I still stack them on the PC. But yeah, so there's, like I said, there's a lot that goes into it. It's a lot more than going click and then posting it to Instagram and everybody loves it. The wire that I'm shooting today is even more so a pain in the ass. Uh, I polished it, so light will bounce off of it differently. In order to be able to tell that it's polished, it kind of has to be an angled shot, or I have to coil it. I really want to do the wire porn of it before I attempt to coil it, because it's an alien Suka across 12 ply of 0.3 with 28 gauge frames, and then I essentially groove fused 42 gauge across the banding of the Suka. So it looks stitched, but it's not stitched. If you look at the edges of it, you can see that the way the wire lines up, it looks stitched, but it's not. So I'm going to, let's see, I'm going to try and get this somewhat looking decent in live view. My LCD, of course, is not that great. This is a camera that came out 4 years ago. Try and get decently set up here. I normally start the opposite of what a lot of people do, and I'll start closest and work my way to the back. You can do kind of whatever makes you comfortable, really. The only thing that I really play with, because I start at the front and shoot to the back, is I'll make sure that if I need the extra little bit to manual focus out to that distance, that I give myself enough room to do so. So I'll kind of make sure that I have the beginning of it in focus. I'm gonna see if I can come over here and show this to you guys without fucking everything up. Let's see. So we've got, I don't know if you guys can even really see that. So it's not going to show up clear at all. The only thing that is actually clear is at the very, very, very bottom here. That shot, oh Jesus, I can just spin you guys around a little bit. That shot is going to be kind of like my marker. I'm going to use that to get my exposure set correctly, to make sure that I'm not bouncing light off of it the wrong way. Yeah, so I'm gonna take some test shots. The flash is gonna pop, so I don't know how that's gonna work on here. We'll see. It might darken everything. It might not do anything at all. And now I realize that I don't have my remote right next to me. Where did I put that? Okay, here we go. Here's the other thing that will help you out a lot. A tripod and one of these. This is a super cheap, like $6 ML-3 infrared remote that I can use to release the shutter on my camera so that I'm not mashing on the camera as I'm trying to take a clean, nice image. So let's see here. I can already tell that this is probably going to be a little bright, but I'm going to shoot it and see what it does. So I'm going to wait for the camera to settle, not have any movement going on whatsoever. So I'll pop the first image. This one might show up a little better, it might not. Yeah, apparently it definitely won't. Let's see. And YouTube won't let you focus during anything, so fuck you, YouTube. So what I'll have to do, essentially, is just show you guys, I guess, me shooting this painfully long stack, and then I can show you the images afterwards. I know that sounds really fucking boring, which is why chat is important. Do you not use Photoshop to do an HDR render? Not of coils, no. Now, if I'm shooting landscape or real estate, something like that, absolutely. Well, I won't do HDR. I'll do luminosity masks. Well, technically it's a luminosity mask, but it's really just exposure blending, which is kind of the same thing, kind of not. I don't want to make I don't want to get too technical on the like first photo tutorial that I do, because so many builders still shoot with a cell phone and clip-on macro lens, and there's nothing wrong with that. In fact, I'll pull up one of the cleanest images that, in my opinion, that I ever pulled off. Schultz, what's going on, man? The white balance. The way that I usually set it, I just use either white tissue paper with several layers deep so that there's not really light penetrating it and possibly rendering things behind it. Uh, and you can just use a sample image, which is what I do. I use a pure white picture, uh, and it works pretty damn well. But in all honesty, even if your white balance is off, as long as it's not off freaking horribly, that can all be recovered in post. Let's see. So let me get to my Instagram here so I can show you what you can do with um, focus stacking and a cell phone and a $20 37 millimeter macro. I don't want to see my story. Bring me to my page. Yeah, well, it's best to get everything right in camera. I don't want to get too deep into the technical aspects of shooting specifically with a DSLR, because I want it to be able to translate over to things that people can do with the with the cell phone and clip. White balance on a cell phone is either going to be a slider, or you'll have a dripper come up. If you can adjust it, you'll have a dripper. I don't really recommend using the dripper because you're never really going to be able to get it centered on something that's pure white. And if it changes image to image, it'll kind of auto update, auto change back to default. So for that, unless if you know the Kelvin rating of the lights that you're using, like I was talking about earlier, I shoot with 5000 K or 5000 Kelvin. It's the temperature. Um, I can go in and I can tell it this is what it was shot with. It was shot at 5000 K. Usually it's pretty close when I do it like that. Now it probably wouldn't be, because I've got my overhead lights on, as well as an additional lamp that I want to say that one's like 48 or something. But I gotta have lighting in here for you guys to see me. I've actually been getting into shooting with solely my speed light, which is really challenging, but the results are really great. So this is a picture that I did a good while ago. Uh, let's see. This was on the Goon. This is actually the picture that's on the build mat for the team. Come on. Apparently I did this a little while longer ago than I thought. Okay, let's see. This is probably going to be the easiest way to do this. Rick, can I zoom? I can. So this picture was shot with a iPhone 7, and I stacked it in Helicon. Will this let me zoom? Boom, there we go. Okay. So you can tell this is actually the VP. This is another one that I did with my cell phone, though. You can see the fucked up little part of the wire. So this was done, and of course this is on my laptop screen, so it's blown up quite a bit. But let's see. I'm gonna have to go a little further back. So that was shot with my cell phone. This picture for me to produce, other than the cell phone that I would have bought anyway, after shipping, I think cost me $30. Yeah, but I don't want to blow it out. See, when I get that close, it distorts it more than the picture is actually distorted. But I mean, that's more than acceptable. I would like to think. I would like to think most people would be okay with shooting standard coil photography that way, and there's no reason to not be okay with it. There's nothing wrong with shooting like that. So what I'm going to do is basically I'm moving my camera ever so slightly closer, and I'll take another shot. I don't know if this is gonna freak YouTube out with me doing speed lighting. I'm gonna zoom in on the preview, see kind of what we're working with, and I don't like it. I've got too much of a highlight coming off of where the speed light is, so I'm gonna move it just a tad. This is probably gonna white out the screen for you guys. Ooh, that's too much of an adjustment. Okay. And a lot of this again is going to be trial and error. You can kind of get, once you get used to your lighting setup, which I've just started doing this flash photography with it, because it allows you to shoot a shorter shutter speed, which usually ends in a crisper image. Not all the time. Usually it will help. Let's see, I'm shooting at 1/25th of a second, f5.6, which I don't like. That should be, for this style, I like to shoot around f8. Let's see, I'm also going to lower my ISO, and we'll pop it one more time. So ISO is at 100, we're shooting 1/25th of a second at f8. F8, all that means, there's a lot of terminology in photography that will just go right over your head at the beginning. F8 is an f-stop. An f-stop is the size of the, basically the diaphragm in the lens. It opens and closes, and opens and closes. The smaller the number, the larger the opening. The larger the opening, the more light comes in. I'm sure you like 6.3, Colin. You're shooting like 3-second exposures. You need the biggest aperture you can. When did you step up your lighting game or something? Since you were shooting at, you said you're shooting at a 1/4 second. You got to remember too. I'm using a flash. That's I think the speed on this is 2/50th, so it's 250th of a second that light is actually coming out of the thing. Okay, so I like that, but I'm gonna have to angle my wire to get a cleaner picture. Let's see if I can kind of show you guys. Yeah, see, I have all of my lighting is on one side. It's right here. You can see what that does to the picture. The top of the coil has no light on it. So what I can do, I have a couple of options. Obviously I can move my lights, right? I can take my flash set it right here in the way of the camera and shoot it the other way so that it will cancel shadows and all of that good stuff. And that's probably what I would normally do in this situation. You know, I can't really and show you guys. So instead what I'm going to do is I'm going to twist the wire over a little bit, and then in post I can make it look like it's not twisted over some. I'm also going to angle it a little bit towards the light. So the light now, the speed light, will be coming down kind of more over the top and running across the top of the coil. The other light here I really just have for ambient light so that I can see what I'm shooting. Because if I turn this light off, let's see, if I turn that light off, I don't really have much to go on screen. Why will that not focus? That's highly upsetting. It's one thing Instagram has over YouTube right there. Draco, what's going on, man? Yeah, Scott, what I'd really like to do is rig something where I can put my flash directly over the top of it, but I don't see that happening tonight. It's on a tripod, and I don't have like an extension arm or anything that I can throw on there. Oh, it might help if I focus that up. This is also the first time that I have shot coils with anybody watching me, so you'll have to bear with me on that a little bit. It's yeah, I would like to do that, but I am incredibly broke, and so I like to jerry rig stuff to get as close to the same effect. Oh, and you guys can't even see me when I'm doing all that mess. Maybe I can set this up a little bit better. We all know the veil is a lie. I'm in my garage. All right, so I like the focus on the bottom part of the coil here. So I'm just going to zoom in a little bit. What's up, Freddie? Oh, and of course I nudged the camera, and it's not going to show this to you cleanly at all. Yeah, so you can't tell that that's anywhere close to in focus. That sucks. Let's see. So I'm going to fine tune it just a smidge. All right, so I'm all the way at the back, or the closest to me, of the coil itself. I'm also all the way at the back of the distance of the focus rail, so you can see how far back the actual camera is from. This is where the center of the mount is. So I have all this distance that I can travel forward to get all the parts of the coil there, or all the parts of the wire rather, in focus. So we'll try that one. Now that I've reset, we're just gonna have another go. And this is how pretty much every bit of my coil photography starts, is for what I'm shooting. If I've changed my lights and shit, which I have to be able to shoot video and do this. Let me pop that back on. I was thinking that looked a little dark. All right, I still need to move the angle a little bit. I can show you guys a zoomed in version. So you can see that's better. We're starting to get more light across the coil. So we're going to nudge them over again. I think that's going to be just about perfect. You see now we have a bright stick of light right there. It's really not nearly that bright, or I would not shoot it like that because it would be way overexposed. Yeah, Scott, I found I like with AliExpress and stuff like that, I'm just really concerned about getting burned with like super cheap shit. Um, newer or newer, I don't know exactly how they want it pronounced, um, but they actually have some decent looking lighting that's reasonably priced. I actually also have a birthday coming up. It's in 2 months though, and I'm planning on trying to get at least one, um, either a strip light that I can hang above it, which is basically just a soft box that's a vanity lighting setup. So you've got sequential lights that go in it, and then you've got this huge diffuser that makes everything look pretty. And then really my ideal setup would be an overhead strip light and then two soft boxes on like 45-degree angles for it, and then a pinhole in the back of my my super ghetto ass setup, black background. I have a acrylic plate that's set there that I did the legit shot of. Uh, this line here from Hometown Hero, which is also very good, by the way. Uh, you know, you can see how reflective that logo is. It's metallic. So what I did is put it on that black acrylic, kind of lit the acrylic itself so that I could get a little bit of an outline of like the black lettering. But really, what I wanted was pretty much what I came out with, which was just the gold kind of light line on the legit logo as a mirrored reflection on the acrylic. And then behind that, I have a piece of cardboard with a black T-shirt on it. So I don't spend money, generally speaking, and I certainly don't spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars on a little mini studio to take pictures that I do not get paid for. Uh, let's see, do we have any questions over in chat? I've not had any problems with eBay or Ally yet. Yeah, definitely knock on wood, not having problems with eBay or Ally. Yeah, there's one thing that I definitely want to do that I will probably be doing as soon as my like weekend starts on Wednesday is to build a little diffuser box, essentially just out of strips of wood and tissue paper that I can set here so that I can have all of my ambient lights on and not worry about them yellowing my image, because I'm not going to go out and outfit everything with 5500K LEDs in my garage. Uh, Other than that, I want to set up a better area to take pictures in before I start like decking it out. Also, one of the cheapest, best tools, white tissue paper. As you can see, I've got it on my can light, I've got it over my flash, and I intend to use more of it as more diffusion is necessary. You can't really over diffuse lighting. You can over like cut the amount of lighting by adding more diffusing elements, but you're never going to make it too diffused. That's why cloudy days are the best days in the world to go outside and take pictures of your coils. You can just set your RDA pretty much wherever the hell you want, and you'll get soft, diffused, natural lighting. Yeah, so I don't remember if I shot this one, so I'm going to go ahead and shoot that again. And then I'm going to inch a little bit closer, and I'm going to shoot it again. So basically the way that I do it on my focus rail is I've gotten to the point where I can kind of manually adjust my focus, or my depth of camera to subject, almost purely based on feel, because you're the captain. That you made the channel, and you didn't rinse yourself. You played yourself. Congratulations, you played yourself. I'm not gonna rinse you. Log in and rinse yourself. Really? Really? That's what happens when a nerd tries to be cool. It doesn't. It never works. Just because I'm live doesn't mean that you can't log into the page. You can totally log into the page. Let's see here. I won't rinse you, but I will. I can't rinse you. I'm not logged in on as me watching it. Yeah, I don't know if I can do it on here. Damn, I can. You need a better ISO, meaning what? Hold on, I missed something. Makes for a good white balance filter. Put it over your lens. Take it. Yeah, that's very true. Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, I'm sure. Well, depending on factors, I would probably have to assume that you're shooting fairly wide aperture, like probably around like a 7, what is it, 7.2. I haven't remembered all the little stops, or even how many makes up a full stop of light, but I would assume you're probably shooting around, I'd say probably smallest aperture around like a 10 or so, because you're going to have to shoot quick and then blown out ISO, I would think. Probably 16, 3200, something like that. You shoot at f12. Damn. 6400 ISO? Or no, it's probably daylight and with lighting. I don't know. I'd have to go out and take like 3 or 4 shots and then be like, oh, okay, makes sense. Yeah, 3200 makes sense. Let's see. At f, are you shooting at f12 because you're zoomed? So you need to get. Did you know the more you, for everybody that doesn't know, I know Scott knows. The more you zoom in, it collapses your aperture, so you lose light the more you zoom. There's lots of reasons for that. Physics is most of it. It's dark most of it. That's They still have track lighting and all of that, I assume. Not track lighting like in your kitchen where you can move the shit. They're lighting the track. You probably I want to see some of those because you're probably a badass photographer. I mean, you clearly already know a lot more about it than I do. I've been shooting with a DSLR for somewhere in the neighborhood of about 3 months. Might be a little bit longer than that. I think I'm pretty close to 4 months now. Other than that, it was always just the cell phone. Good lord, it normally takes me about this long to shoot a stack when I'm not live. I've been on for 45 minutes. Normally at this point I would be getting very impatient about how long my slow ass computer is taking to stack all this. Yeah, so you got, a couple days more experience. Just a couple. Corey is a point and shoot guy. He has no love for photography whatsoever. Let me move you guys back some. He has no desire uh, to. I don't remember what camera he has. He has a DSLR, and he's had a rough time figuring it out. And me and Mike have tried to help him along. It's just he has no love for it at all. Uh, yeah, Nick has started using his camera and surprisingly asking very few questions, uh, which makes me think he's not shooting in manual. Uh, yeah, I think Corey could get. I know Corey's a very intelligent guy, so I know that he could figure it out. It's just, like I said, he has no love for it. He doesn't have the desire to do it without having somebody next to him. Like he's not a learner that can be told, okay, this is what ISO is and does. This is what your shutter speed is and does. This is what your aperture is. This is, here. Let me just spew knowledge for 15 or 20 minutes, and you should be good, right? Um, Corey seems more of a hands-on learner, but you can't really do that in team, like in a team chat. It's not easy to do. Let's see. Let me actually take some pictures. Yeah, the thing with it is, honestly, this and portraits are portraits far and away is my least favorite form of photography. I do not enjoy portraits. Um, I don't know why. It's probably because I hate people. That could have something to do with it. Also, I've not shot a whole ton of portraits, especially for like people that I don't know personally. And I I'm not a good like portrait director for people. I like look over here. I'm not good at getting or rather at giving direction to get. Um, I do hate people because I'm doing this by myself. I don't have anybody around me. This is the kind of human interaction that I like, where no humans are involved. And if I decide I don't like you, I can just hit block, or just end the stream. I don't hate you on a personal level, Freddie. I hate you because you're another human being, and that's. I mean, I love you though. That is another issue that I have, and why I'm not willing to like fly out and teach Corey. Um, Again, it's not that I think that Corey would have like a really hard time or do stupid shit or just make it a pain in the ass for me. It's the fact that anybody, like I'm the type of person where it actually, like, I have to leave the room most of the time that my child plays video games. I have a 6-year-old son, and he's 6, so he fucking sucks. So playing the PlayStation, I can't watch it. It's so painful. And then he'll ask me for help, so I'll tell him what to do. And he's 6, and it's a PlayStation 4. It's like Lego Indiana Jones and shit, right? So he's got to like double jump, and like at the peak of the double jump, hit circle to grab onto a nail in the wall to swing across a crevice that's naturally filled with snakes. And you know, he just keeps jumping one time into the pit, into the pit. Doesn't even jump and runs into the pit. Double jump into the pit. Jump, fucking tries to use his whip. Nothing. And then like at that point, my face is like blood red, and I gotta leave the room. I can't do it. I can't. If there's something that I have any skill at whatsoever, I don't even have to be good at it. I can just be not shitty. And if I'm forced to watch somebody being shitty, I can't handle it. I can't fucking do it. Like I lose my shit. And normally, my son picks up on it, right? Of course, I'm not gonna yell at or cuss out my 6 year old for not being good enough at fucking Lego Indiana Jones. But he's learned now. Sometimes after he's asked me about 5 or 6 times what he should do, he'll just kind of walk over and like hand me the controller. I'll jump across the crevice for him 90% of the time on the first try because I'm not 6. And you know, then I'll hand him the controller back, and it's just like, okay, I'm gonna go downstairs. I can't do this. So yeah, and it's you know it's a combination of things. I have no tolerance for stupidity. That's willful stupidity. If I've explained it to you before and asked you if you had any questions about it, and you said no, I understand completely. You made it perfectly clear. Okay, and then you do something way fucking out of left field. It There's a rage monster that lives inside of me, and it starts welling up as soon as the first instance of that happens. And I teach people to work on smartphones to do repair on people's thousand, $1,200 devices. So when stakes are that high, because if we fuck up a phone, we buy a phone, right? So we went from making a profit to losing a shit ton of money. I know that you're new. I know that you didn't mean to, but I told you. Told you what to do, and you didn't do it. And of course, mistakes are made. You know, if a screwdriver slips, I get it. It's even happened to me. But you put a screw back in the wrong hole, swirl a trace on the logic board, and take 40 hours of my life away because now I have to do trace repair. Not only do I not want you to work here, I want to physically harm you in very creative ways. Yeah, I tried to do that. I tried to do that. Yeah, I walk out of the room, have a vape, but I can't come back. I gotta just walk out of the room, have a vape, and be like, all right, I hope figure it out, play a different game, anything like that. I what model MacBook Pro? Hopefully you have a like. Hopefully you can say like early 2012 or first early release 2012 because they changed those boards so fucking much that uh, I can't ever keep up. 2015, you know if it's early or late. I think no, early, mid, or late in 2015. Or actually, you're pretty good with computers too. If you have did you already pull the board? If you can give me the board number, I can tell you if I can get schematic. Oh, mid. So that yeah, that'll work. What's the issue on it? No start sound, as in you start it up and there's no audio until it's fully booted, or it won't post. Because no startup sound doesn't sound like an issue to me. I would just, okay, my computer's quiet when it starts. Or is it not booting fully, but it's giving you audio cues as if it is booting fully? Okay, so you get fan spin, and that's it. Does your charger light come on when you plug in? You get your green light. That might be. I don't remember which MacBook it is because I don't work on them very regularly. I live in a rural area, and most people where I live, it's very like barely blue collar. So they're just not going to drop the money on a MacBook Pro, especially not like if people in this area were to buy a MacBook Pro, they'd probably buy like the mid 2012 or early 2012. With no fan spin, it might be an issue with PPV3 underscore gbus hot because that's the main power rail on it. But fan spin on those I think comes from somewhere else. So you might have a no power issue, but the problem there is as long as your battery has charge, it's pulling off of a different line to get that fan spin. So it might be startup fan spin, and that's literally all the computer is doing. It might not actually be trying to post. I'll tell you what though, shoot me a DM on Instagram. Are you on Instagram? If you're not on Instagram, add me on Facebook. It's Drew Herbick, Herbick. My profile picture is a yellow flag with a snake on it that says "No stamp on snake." And we'll get that sorted out because I do micro solder, I do board level, I can do BGA rear work, you know, obviously like capacitor, resistor, and filters and diodes and all that good shit. Yeah, if you give me the board number, I'll make sure that I have schematics on it. I won't be able to check right now, but I can make sure that I do have schematics for it. As long as I have schematics for it, you can send it to me, and yeah, we'll go from there. Let's put it this way: it depends on who's watching this live feed as to pricing information that I can give, if that makes any sense. And of course, I'm always down for trades. So it depends on what it is. Because if it's a filter or something where it's one filter and I just replace it, then usually that would be, most places it's going to be anywhere between, depends on their pricing structure. If they do it per component, it could be as low as like $59. If they do it like as a general repair price, it's probably going to start around like $89 and just go up from there. I had a big fucking win today though. Again, because I live in kind of a rural area. Most everybody here commutes to work, where they have. Okay, let me I'm going to copy that on my computer here just so that I have that board number. Yeah, I'll look. I know I can get schematics for it if I don't have them already. By the way, laptopschematics.com. Oh no, I've just realized I have a shitty section of coil in here. So, I'm going to stop shooting there. Alright, I do want to try one other thing. I was about to just shoot that manually because all I really want to know is what the light's going to do on it. All I did was angled my ambient light a smidge. This is what I do for my coil shots. I spend hours in the basement playing with a tiny little fucking knob and doing this with lights and adding and taking away sheets of tissue paper. The only other thing that I didn't show you that I do a lot is this right here. Let's see, I'll have to get this fuckery around. So without setting up a light box or buying anything or cutting up the son's bed sheets, you can just lay tissue paper in like a tent fashion. That's way too big of a sheet of tissue paper. You can lay a sheet of tissue paper between your lens and what you're shooting, and it does really two things. The first thing that it does is it helps just eliminate glare. Because you're adding another layer of diffusion as well, it will cut the amount of light that you have on the subject just a bit, whether it's a coil or whatever in the hell it is that you're shooting. So you see, all I did there was tuck it in. Just put a little diffuser blanket over the entire thing. You know, I was thinking about telling you to look up old Rossman Repair Group. He doesn't seem to fix your problem. I know for a fact that he would fix your problem. The issue there is mailing it to New York, waiting 6 to 8. I think his current time, the last time that I heard anything about it, was like 6 to 8 weeks, and you pay out the ass. You pay out the ass because you know it's going to be fixed. You know it's going to be fixed right. But yeah. What did I say? My lights and my subject. Did I say my subject and my subject, or my lens and my subject? Yeah. You're putting basically another layer of diffusion that isn't smack up against the light. I have 2 layers of tissue paper and a paper towel. I have a layer of tissue paper, a paper towel, a layer of tissue paper over the can light that I'm using, and even then, like, look, if I shine this at my face, it's not whited out because it's just horribly overexposed. It is horribly overexposed, but it's also whited out like that because it's just not quite diffused enough. If I take this, right, single ply tissue paper, and I wrap it around it, you can see it kind of helps a little bit more, brings out a little bit that eyebrow exists. Yeah, don't put it between your lens and subject because that's what you're going to be taking a picture of You don't want a picture of tissue paper. Or maybe you do. But see, if I set it a little closer, I can kind of play with where the light is stronger or weaker. So I've got this about halfway between the light and myself. If I bring it right up to myself, I've got all the light kind of coming through and bouncing directly into my face. So it's not really any better than that. Kind of the same thing with just adding it onto the camera. So you can kind of find these little sweet spots, and that helps a lot. The other thing that you can do is buy bounce boards, so that instead of shining your harsh light directly on your subject, muslin. It is not muslin cloth, despite what Black Cat Whiteface may think. It is muslin. It's spelled the same as Muslim, but with an N. And it's really not a whole lot different than just a slightly finer weave of cheesecloth. Instead of having big gaps in it, it's more like it's a little bit more like your standard like Walmart sheets, right? I had a nicer version of this. This is a bed sheet, and you can tell because it's basically fucking see-through. I had a slightly smaller piece of muslin that I used for a while, and that was great, but it ripped, and then ripped more when I was trying to rehang it, and then it ripped a lot when I got mad at it. So there he is. What's up, Scott? It's not fucking muslin. Stop being a racist, Scott. Jesus. In all fairness, though, it is very similar to the cloth that a turban is made out of. What the hell is muslin? It's the shit you've been calling muslin. It's the green prayer rug you got behind you that you put the cat on. Okay, so I'm gonna move that a little bit. Now I'm gonna show you the difference that one piece of tissue paper just kind of draped over the edge of my lens, and then draped over the coil does, right? So this is probably still gonna look like a fucking white line. Of course it does. Why not? Instagram hates everybody. So I can put on flash, I can mute myself, I can add filters, I can make it a dance party. We can go in a dream, but I can't tap to focus. That's retarded as shit. It's highly aggravating. Let's see. Can I do anything with my lighting? Apparently not. No, I can't do anything. So you can't tell, really, from the last white line that we had to this white line that we have, but it's, instead of actually being a white line that I see, I now have little ridges and valleys and stuff like that. That Muslim would not like being called a white line. No. I'm pretty sure cocaine is like, or cocaine use is punishable by death in most Muslim countries. Let's see, so I'm going to reset now that I've changed my lighting. So I'm going to get back to where the very front of the coil is in focus to me. Pop an image, and we'll see how it comes out. Or I will. Apparently you guys don't get to see shit on my LCD because I can't fucking control any of the exposure on my camera in YouTube Live. It is dark. It's darker than I want. So what I'm actually going to do, you can kind of see it. What I'm actually going to do is I'm just going to up the power on my speed light. If you don't have a speed light, you can't do that, obviously. I do kind of recommend trying to get most of your lighting on dimmers, or at least somewhere close to where you can control. You can either pull them away, push them in, and play with your lighting that way. Otherwise, you're gonna need like a dimmer or something like that. On the speed light, it's like everything else that I use. You're gonna walk with me for a second. Like everything else that I use, it's extraordinarily cheap. Like I said, it was a $40 speed light. So these are my settings. So I'm gonna go up and see how much brighter that is. Yeah, I think that'll work. This is my dirty ass garage, by the way. This is mostly all shit that my wife has collected. And I have a Pee Wee football trophy from when I was like 9 up there. What's up, Subaru? Hope you're having a good evening, sir. How do I get this stupid filter shit off of here? There we go. I am not getting drunk by a fire. I am slowly sipping IPA. Oh shit, you know what I just realized? I realized two things actually. One, what the fuck is going on with this? Really? Okay. Yeah, I'm really slowly sipping a whopping 5% alcohol IPA because Drewski doesn't get drunk anymore. I still like to drink, but I don't touch liquor, and I never drink to get drunk. It's just not a good call for me. Philip, what's going on? Yes, and the thing about it is, none of this shit is ever gonna get fucking used. The bike will. For some reason, we have a tricycle in here. It's like this giant, hideous puke fucking green and piss yellow thing, and it's all plastic. It's probably made in China. The whole thing's probably made of lead. I have a coffee pot down here. I have 3 fucking coffee pots and a Keurig. Why? Yeah, I gotta quit looking. Patrick Coe, builder on Facebook. It's Facebook, so I have no fucking clue. I get on there to piss liberals off and occasionally talk to a family member. Oh, that's much better. I am going to put it up to full power, though. Angle that light down just a smidge. Take another one and see what's up with it. Yeah, beam me up some coils, man. Damn, I'm still gonna have to crop the piss out of this thing. Okay. Fuck it, we're going super macro. So I'm gonna put on, this is a 36 millimeter extension tube. I have a 12 millimeter and a 24 millimeter already on there. I'm not digging the pictures. Before I shoot that though, because you guys can't see what any of this shit looks like, Let me find my SD card reader because I didn't think that we were going to get to this point. Let's see. Yeah, my computer is only... well, no, it's a little over a year old. But it was a $400 Walmart HP. So, killer specs. This thing's fucking beast. Full of PC parts and bikes. I'll take some of those PC parts. I have got to, you know, as much of a nerd as I am, and really good with DC electronics and stuff, I've only ever assisted for like an hour on an actual PC build. And I'm not a specs guy, so like, you could be like, "Hey, I just got this new processor. I just got this new CPU. It's badass. It's a quad core, does multi-threading, and I know what those are, so I guess that's a bad example." But yeah, like rattling off like the name of the CPU and all that other shit. Well, you can use a server as a PC, just unless you put a lot of extra shit in there. It's not going to be, well, no, it could be pretty badass. I guess it kind of depends on your memory type, whatever CPU you're using to run it, and if you're running like shitloads of virtual machines because you have a server, so you have storage for however long you put like 5 terabyte SSDs in there. So you could have a pretty badass server PC. But yeah, I don't know shit about specs. I couldn't tell you the difference between DDR2 and DDR4 RAM, except DDR4 is better. I don't know why. If you asked me like the difference between an Intel i7 and i6, any versions of those, I have no fucking clue. I'm not PC savvy. I can fix logic boards though. You take the motherboard out of it, send it to me, and you got a fucked up problem. As long as I can get schematics for it, and hopefully diode motor readings of the lines, then I'll fix all of it. But I can't recommend what graphics card you get. So I'm gonna pull a couple of these up to show you guys why I'm not happy with them. I really need to purge this card again. So this is the last one that I took that I actually kind of like the lighting on. Again, you'll have to excuse my extraordinarily slow PC. Come on. I know it's a raw file, so it's nice and fat for you, but you can handle it. I promise. And maybe I can kill the brightness on my monitor so you guys can fucking see that. There we go. Kind of. It's still way too bright. And of course the only part that's in focus is the bottom, because I don't care if this is in focus or not. I'm trying to get the lighting the way that I want it. And that's close. It's not exactly how I want it because of almost where the cursor is. Like the harshness of where it's bouncing here and here. I'm not a huge fan of. A lot of that is because the edge, kind of 2 spots in the middle, and then the other edge of it is where it got polished. So it's naturally going to be more reflective. So that just kind of gives you an idea. That is insane to me. The like amount that it is brightening everything, because I can barely fucking see that now. It's so dark. It's as dark as my screen goes. I wonder if I cut like all my lighting, if it'll be like, hey, maybe I should fucking readjust. Let's see. Let's see if that did anything. Hell no, it's still bright as shit. Well, fuck me. I want to leave that off anyway, though, because that's yellow lighting, and I don't want that. So we basically pop it back out and try again. So back to live view on the camera. Now that I've added that other extension tube, I'm gonna have to be like damn near scraping the lens of my camera with the wire. Let's see. It's pretty close in there. You see the tubes are actually substantial. Well, not substantially, but they're longer than my lens. One of the things that allows me to do, though, is I can then use my zoom as my focus, basically. There's no way I'm going to be able to show you that because of how fucked up YouTube is and won't let you change anything on your video settings on your phone. But this will basically allow me to, instead of really zooming in or out with it, also another thing to keep in mind with extension tubes, if you're shooting with an 18 to 55 kit lens, which most DSLRs that are regular DSLRs, not extraordinarily high-end, usually come with a zoom autofocus lens. And it's usually something that's really in the mid-range there, like an 18 to 55, or a 20 to 70, or you can get kits that come with the 18 to 55 and a what is it, like a, I think 70 to 200. If you put extension tubes on it and you like slam that lens, all those optics that are normally right up here against your sensor, and you move them all the freaking way out here, your zoom, your focus will still work. Your manual focus will still let you focus manually, but like over this much of a length of wire. It's your depth of field is nothing. You do, however, get to play with that depth of field with your zoom instead. So you're actually going to be the most zoomed in at 18 millimeters. But with this setup at 18 millimeters, my actual focal distance is just inside the lens. I can't shoot behind the first piece of glass, so I can't really do that. All right, Merlin, man, appreciate stopping in. I think you've seen me live before. You should have known this was going to be an all-night thing. And so with that other lens on it, I'm actually going to lower my camera just a bit. I want to get like an across the coil shot because it is polished, but because of the size of the wires used, it's not polished that heavily. So in order to be able to really see that in any way, shape, or form, I'm gonna have to pull some trickery. Alright, so we're gonna go back to blankets. And I don't want to raise my ISO because that can introduce grain. So instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go for a longer shutter speed. What that'll do is basically it just exposes the sensor for longer and allows it to absorb more light and more information, and will get you a brighter image. That's kind of what I'm going for. So this could actually be cropped and used as a single image, but I want more than that because if I crop that, it's gonna be a little rough. It's gonna need some work. So I'd rather not crop that. Getting your first macro soon? Oh yeah, that's exactly what I've been doing. It's 18 to 55, and why is this being such a major pain in my ass? I'm about to fix that. Really? No gaffer's tape or electrical tape. Okay. Whew. You're about to see a man get pissy. I'm about to tape this fucking phone in place. Damn, is this tape fucking old? Tell you, no shit got real right there. The fuck did I get that stuck on? My chair. Yeah, and you know that's the thing is honestly, there's nothing fucking wrong with using your phone in a macro lens. If you wanna get, son of a cunt, why in the fuck is this thing doing this? This is beyond frustrating. Hold on, bear with me for 1 second. Yeah, Ramos 100 millimeter Canon. My questions there is which 100 millimeter Canon? because there's a couple of them out there. I don't expect that Ray would have bought a shitty one. Um, macro flash ring, yes, yes. There's lots of macro flashes that you can get from Amazon, eBay, AliExpress, uh, B&H Photo. Um, was it lens swappers or I can't fucking remember the name of it. There's uh, there's a website that you can go to and you can rent lenses. Um, it's actually not that bad. It's still expensive, but it's not nearly as expensive as buying these things. Amount of softbox booms, light stands. Whoa, the amount of softboxes, booms, light stands I have LED with Kelvin color changing functions. I'm assuming you mean you have lots of softbox booms and light stands that have the ability to change temperature. Because I just read that as one big sentence and was like, what? The amount of softboxes, booms, light stands I have led with Kelvin color changing functions. Yeah, you can also you can get a diopter like the Rainox little clip-ons, and those things make a pretty big difference as well. It's basically a much better version of one of these. I don't know if you guys can see any of that. Let's see. Oh yeah, there we go. Yeah, see? This thing will magnify the fuck out of some shit. Let's see if I have any boogers. Nope. Nope, we're good. I want to start building my own coils for my Pulse 24. I don't have a Pulse 24, but would like to know what gauge coil to use. What ohm level are you trying to hit? And Mike, please pull up your coil calculator. I haven't done a round wire build in forever. I was just gonna reach and grab another beer, and I realized something that I did that was really fucking stupid, and I'm about to be really mad at myself. Son of a bitch. So yeah, the other shot that I really wanted to get tonight was a Dark Horse photography or a product shot, right? So what I did is I went and bought some peppermint bark, because it's like white chocolate and like peppermint, uh, which kind of gives it this like winter minty deal. And yeah, I left it. I left it. I thought the lady put it in the bag with my beer. She did not. Yep. And the only fucking thing that they had too is like this fucking. Yeah, that pisses me off. Anyway, continuing. Maybe I'll get a Macro Monday shot by next Monday at the rate that I'm going. Using the pre-mades from the store right now, so don't really know, but I'm reading at 0.115. Okay, so around a 0.1. Can you do Claptons? Like just one wire, another wire around it. If you can build the Claptons, I would definitely recommend Claptons. But as far as let's see, as far as just straight round wire, help me out here, Mike. Nichrome? What are you looking at buying wire, or do you already have a couple of spools, or I need to oil my. Just have the beginner DIY kit. Just need to buy wire. Awesome. I recommend Coil Society. KB is not bad either. You should be cleaning your wire before you vape it anyway, so I would highly recommend that. Yeah, absolutely, man. Like I said, I don't. You're not on Instagram, right, Scott? Maybe, maybe not. Are you on Facebook? That's right. No, you added me on Google Plus. Yeah, so I'll shoot you an email. I'll shoot you an email and let you know. No problem, man. And well, I'd rather work out some trade or something than do like a straight cash transaction. But we'll figure it out. Let's see. While I'm not on Facebook, no IG. Yeah, I agree with Mike. If you want to start building, like if you want to start building, then I would get 24, 26, so on and so forth down to 38. Uh, but definitely 24, 26. I might deviate a little bit from Mike's list there. I would say probably 24, 26, 28, 34, and 36 if you're only going to get those, or if you're only going to get 5 spools. If you're going to get more than 5 spools, then you should get 24, 26, 28, 36, 38, and 40. Yeah, man, definitely. Also, Subaru. Do not buy wire at a local vape shop. Not because I don't want you to support your local vape shop. It's that chances are they're going to have 10 to 30 foot spools, which are almost always going to be overcuts, or it will be from the ass end of a spool, or it'll be cut from a section that had a super fucked up uh, like tension issue or something like that. So usually your like really small length spools are going to be kinked, they're going to be tangled, they're going to have issues, and plus there's only 10 feet of them, and you're probably paying what you would pay for 150 to 250 feet of the same wire. When it comes to buying juice, or getting a battery or two or something like that, by all means support your local shops. When it comes to wire, it's they can't sell you wire anywhere near a good deal. They just can't, because they basically get it for a few dollars off, and then they have to mark it up to meet overhead and everything else. So you're going to be paying, and wire's already expensive if you're buying it like most of us do. Um, I just did a 70 something dollar, I think $70 order to Coil Society, because 2 weeks ago I only spent like $50. So, I mean, you gotta kind of weigh your options there. I mean, of course, you don't have to build thousands and thousands of feet of wire at a time, but be prepared because it's addicting. Yeah, absolutely, man. Hit me up anytime. DMs are always open. I'm up late. I'm not up 24/7, but I'm up late, and I do have an actual job. But Pro 2.1, no GPU. I don't know, but we may have to figure that out, Scott. So the you guys are basically at this point, because my camera LCD sucks, kind of keeping me company while I shoot the stack. I'll try and be somewhat quick about it. This is also probably not the final stack that I'm going to use, but I will process the stack, and I'll post it so that you guys can see it not be shat all over by YouTube not wanting you to be able to adjust any fucking thing on your phone. I mean, I appreciate them doing the go live now from a mobile device, otherwise this would be on Instagram. Or I would have had to beg somebody for a Zoom room. Alright, appreciate it, Scott. And have a good night, man. Or good late morning. In all honesty, because of the angle that I'm shooting this at, I should have started from the farthest point and moved up. Because essentially the issue that I'm fighting now is the weight of the camera is pushing down on the rail. So when I go to move it down, it moves more than I want it to. Because we're talking the minimum movement that I can do on this rail is 0.35, I think, millimeters. Yeah, I'm not gonna tell somebody they gotta get on Instagram. I mean, it's a great resource for anybody that is wanting to build coils and have access to a bunch of people. I can't tell if my phone's charging or not. I think it is. It should be. I guess we'll find out. So I just hit 20% because I didn't have it plugged in. Instagram is just a feed of pics. The easiest social media there is, bro. Double tap to like or just keep them scrolling. It's a great time waster, if nothing else. But yeah, I'm not gonna tell somebody like you're not supporting the Resistance Crew if you don't hop over on IG and give us a follow. I mean, it's on the YouTube. I can't complain. You can follow the whole vape community. Yes, it is an awesome resource. But I also totally understand not wanting to get sucked into that whole thing. Between Guru Shots, which is a photography challenge app where you can win free lenses. Most of the time you win like in-app purchase stuff, like autofills, which is, I'm not going to get into all that, but it's, yeah, that's, that's where most of my photography gets exposure. And then Instagram, Fope, which is a app that you can sell images on. Uploading to Shutterstock, trying to find paid photography gigs, and building and shooting coils and shooting products and keeping up with sponsors, I have made myself the fullest of plates, but I love it. I wouldn't have it any other way. Keeps me out of trouble. Uh, keeps me doing the right thing. And if I'm gonna be honest, if if I'm using this camera, I'm a happy person. Even when shit's going bad and I'm not getting the shots that I want, or I'm having fucking issues in editing or whatever the case may be. It's whoa, the fuck happened there? That's what happens when you have a $40 speed light and a $10 controller. It doesn't always pop when it's supposed to. Charge time on this thing is stupidly long. It is. That I will certainly say. So in all honesty, what I'm probably going to do, I'm going to process this stack. Uh, Black or white, it depends. It depends, man. If I'm trying to get like an insane contrast on like colored coils, white background all the way. Uh, Ghosting becomes an issue. Editing is a little bit more tedious. You can't really just paint white on it because it's gonna look a little different. Um, but there's just like, especially an over the rim of the coil where it's like you can kind of like the post screws will be at the very bottom of the image, and then it's a super close in macro of like the top edge of the coil, and then a white background behind that. It's just, it pops so much. It looks really good, but it's also a lot of work, which is why if you look back, I think I have like one or two white backgrounds. Because most of mine, like the way that they come out, I'm just not happy with them, and I think that's just my editing skills and my extreme lack of knowledge in Photoshop on my computer after I've stacked the image, and then because of the way that I obtained Photoshop, I cannot upgrade the Camera Raw version that it uses, and so I have to convert everything through Adobe DNG converter that just basically takes my raw files and converts them from .nef raw files to .dngs. So Photoshop can read DNG files just fine. It can't handle .nef, at least not the 2015 version with the Camera Raw 8.0 that it comes with. But what I'll probably do is I'm going to process this, and then I'm going to shoot it back to front and process it again. I'm going to go ahead and get Helicon ready so that as soon as I throw this card over, and I'm still not happy with the lighting on it. This is why most of your Macro Monday shots are shot on Wednesday of the previous week and then sat on, but I can't sit on pictures, so usually as soon as I'm happy with one, it gets posted. Boom. Okay, so I've got, oh wow, this is also a really short stack. This is kind of funny. So the You know, I was like, whoa, what the fuck happened there when I took a, I don't know if you heard the camera shutter or not, it's fairly fucking loud. But this is the result of that shot with no speed light. Solid black. So now that I've got my memory card all up in my PC, I'm going to copy these. I'm going to do a new folder, and I'm going to call it Live Stack. And then for probably about the next 2 to 3 minutes, I'm not really going to be able to see you guys because I have Helicon open, and so I can't see chat. I get the little like quarter-second fucking view of it on my phone, but then it immediately goes away. Can I scroll back? Oh, holy piss. Okay. Mine are shot 2 weeks in advance. Yeah, see, I don't manage my time that well. So, yeah, mine are normally shot like Monday during the day. Oh, I can already tell I'm not really gonna like this stack. It's okay. Alright, so let's move this over to the live stack folder. Once that happens, I can convert all of them because none of my shit's compatible. My computer's not compatible with my camera, my software is not compatible with the format in which I shoot. I just wanted to show everybody, look, I have a fucking $399 camera body. If you buy the setup that I have right now, I have a $399 camera, or if you buy the kit with the lens, it's like $429, I think. I have a 45. Well, I have a $65 tripod that I got at a discount because I'm an Amazon Prime member and they lightning dealed it for me. Then I also have the tripod that my Speedlight is on that came in a kit thing that I got for like 40 bucks that came with a backpack to hold all my shit. Tons of mostly pointless filters, but then it does have a CPL and UV filter. Came with my little macro diopter that I can screw on the end of my lens and give it even more macro capability. What else did it come with? But yeah, I think I'm right now. I'm at a little over 700 bucks in camera, extension tubes. That Quantarare lens is not mine, but they can be had for around 50 bucks. I love that lens for shooting everything but coils. Lighting, everything, all of that. I'm at around 700 bucks. I don't think I'm doing too bad for a $700 setup. You don't have to go out and spend thousands upon thousands upon thousands of dollars to just get good clean images. In fact, you don't even need a fucking DSLR. All you have to do is understand diffusion, right? You see all the lighting that I have is set up specifically for me to be able to heavily diffuse it, to be able to control it to the best of my ability, bounce it around as needed. I have a ton of bounce board that I can't seem to find a single fucking piece of now that I've mentioned it. Here we go. So this technically is a bounce board. Realistically, it is a dry erase poster board. I'd say it's pretty effective at bouncing light and controlling it where I want it to go. I can probably damn near white the camera. Well, if I had a larger piece, I could wipe the camera out with it. I mean, you can. Well, let's put it this way. I can probably put it. Well, no, it's not going to show you guys if I do it that way. I was going to say I could probably put it above me and have shadowing coming up. But yeah, it's pretty fucking effective because I have the light is pointed at the card. You can angle it, decide how much light I want to let through, not let through, etc. And these are amazing because I can take it, angle it downward slightly, have this light all the way back here. I have barely any spill light hitting my subject, and then I can bounce it off of this, which essentially gives it a greater distance to travel, will diffuse the light a little bit more, and so balance board is great. If you actually purchase photography balance board, it's going to be fairly expensive for what it is, which is why I decided fuck that shit. Normally it's foam board and it's got a shiny reflective surface on it, and I was like, you know what else has a shiny reflective surface on it? Like a whiteboard. But I want like a piece of paper whiteboard. So I went to Hobby Lobby and for $1.97 I got a giant sheet of fucking dry erase poster board. Cut it up and it works amazingly. Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of shit that you can find the equivalent product, but it's not marketed to photography, so it's way the fuck cheaper. You just need to know what that piece of equipment is actually doing, and then 90% of the time you can find something else that'll do just as good a job. It might be a little bit more work, but it's going to be a little bit more work and a fuckload cheaper. I just don't have the funds to go out and spend a ton of money on really anything. And because of that, I have been made to be kind of innovative in how I decide to set my stuff up. For example, I'll show you guys this after this whole thing. I was going to show you some of my other photography that I've done that's not at all vape related. Okay, so what I've done here is I have loaded these images into a program called Helicon Focus. It's by a company called Helicon Soft. If you go to Helicon, I think it's heliconsoft.com. I could be wrong. If you just Google Helicon Focus, it'll bring it up. What this program does is you can see that clearly about 97% of this picture is not in focus. There's a little sliver of it that is actually in focus. What this program does is it will run through, you can see this is my first picture. This is my slow-ass computer trying to load a raw file. Come on. Now you can see this was in focus on the last one. Now we've moved what's actually in focus up just a hair. And it's going to continue to do that, honestly, till about like right here, because I got really tired of shooting the stack. Actually, let's see exactly how far it went. So now the front of the coil should be horribly out of focus, and more towards the back end of the coil will be in focus. None of it really looks in focus on my camera, or on my phone rather. Yeah, see, now we've got the tail end of it. All I'm going to do is come over here. This is how difficult it is to focus stack, right? I have to choose between these three. I have method A, which is a weighted average, which will essentially, from the way that I understand it, oh no, reset that. I don't want the weighted average. Weighted average, basically what it does is it'll say, okay, this has the most in focus. So we're going to use this as like our base picture and then try and build from there. The depth map sounds the best because the depth map will try and figure out where we're working. Are we working from close to far? If we're working from close to far, if our first image has this in focus, then what it'll do is it'll segment, and it'll say we'll go to the next one, and it'll segment and go to the next one and segment. With the pyramid method, it basically says, okay, are we in an area where we're shooting down on something? If that's the case, then you end up with kind of a high focal point and a low focal point. For whatever reason, though, pyramid seems to work the best on the most stuff. With this harsh light right here, I am probably going to end up with a lot of ghosting on this image. What I mean by that is like kind of right here. You can see I've got this nice bright spot. Well, next to that's like this grayish, like light spillage. That can be corrected in post, but that's a lot of fucking work. It's way, way better and easier to get that right in the actual picture. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here. I've got my pyramid method selected. That little pop-up says good for intersecting objects and deep stacks. What it means by a deep stack is a lot of pictures. I don't have a lot of pictures. What I'm actually going to do is use my second favorite method, which is going to be the depth map. For smoothing on it, I'm going to bump it up a little bit. I'm going to go to 6. Then I'm going to hit render. Now what it's going to do, this image on the left here might be the right for you guys. I don't remember if it flips it or not, but it will change between each one of my source images. So it'll show this one, then it'll show the one where it kind of steps up, etc., etc. And then on this side here, as soon as it starts to get some semblance of an idea of what is actually in focus, it'll start like normally the way that my computer renders it graphically is it'll show kind of like a inverse color spectrum. But this program does all of it. See, like that's actually damn near exactly what I see on my screen. And that's it picking up light reflections off of the acrylic that's underneath what I'm shooting. Then you have the actual part that's in focus here, right? So it's what it's building from what looks like just light. This is just light, but that black acrylic that you can't even see underneath this, it shows that as being in focus. So with the depth map, this is building a depth map of what image has what in focus. Now, it eventually, closer to the end, it will swap over and actually be a picture that just kind of gets refined. I honestly kind of wish it would stay like this, because you can see this little like bracketing right here, right? Which means that my step from this part to this part, I moved the camera too much. If you have these little like black to gray to light gray to lighter gray with hard lines on them, that's not good. I will probably end up rendering this again in the pyramid method. Again, this is just building what's in focus, so it's gonna go a little weird. And for whatever reason, it didn't pick up the bottom of that. So what I anticipate that this is going to look like is actually about like right here through like right here will probably be fine. Like this section will be great. The rest of it, the top of it, is probably going to be ghosted completely out. So you're going to have a lot of haze around just everything. And then this is either going to be horrible or it will be the only sharp part of the image. Even though it thinks that all of this is in focus, because it's even trying to figure out the background. Yeah, Colin, if you're, hold on, let me switch to the tubes. There's really not much to see here at this point, so let me turn this around. It's not going to change much until it changes into an actual image. Let me get the interwebs back. Hey, Clayton, what's going on, man? That's correct, Juan. Could not see chat. Colin says I like that one. So I guess you're using what, I don't even remember what, weighted average, or no, depth map. Depth map. It doesn't do that when you do a depth map. That's odd. Is it did that on my work PC as well. Pyramid. Yeah, no. I generally speaking just use pyramid. If your pyramid stack doesn't come out quite the way that you want, throw it over to depth map. If that one doesn't work, throw it over to weighted average. If none of them work, chances are you were either taking too far of a step between focal planes, or you just way overshot the stack. If you throw, like for that section of coil, for me to manually shoot it, honestly, the way I would shoot it normally, I would probably be at around 30 pictures. I think I pulled 16. Let's see. I have 19 pictures that are going into the stack, that are being processed. Wow, that did horribly. Okay, no, never mind. Yeah. I don't know if I have a different version. Mine's 6.8.0. Maybe it's the fact that I don't have standalone graphics in my work PC or my laptop, so neither one of them know what to do with it trying to render an image, and so they just give it to me black and white. Oh, this part's kind of cool. See that hard cutoff line? Oh, it's ghosted like a motherfucker at the bottom. See how that hard cutoff line's going away? From shitty out of focus image to we've got coil there now. Yeah, mine, before it gets to that point, like right at the beginning of it, whatever the first image is, wherever it is the most in focus, will get painted white, and then it does that like once through the stack, and then comes back and builds the image. So I think it's honestly probably just shitty. Whoa, hold on here. We got an error. Oh, it's insulting my skills. It says, please check that the images are shot in consecutive order with roughly equal step. Brightness of images varies by 45%. Well, no shit when you're shooting a reflective surface. So what we're going to do, because of the fuckery that we have up here is because I stopped shooting the stack. The fuckery that we have at the bottom here is... No, I took the all black one out. I made sure that that one didn't get thrown in. At least I'm pretty sure I did. Yeah, I did. The reason my lighting changes is because I'm so fucking close to the coil, that, or the wire rather at this point, that moving it from it focusing down here to focusing up here will start to shadow out the bottom part of the coil. Now, there's a lot of stuff that you can do if you really want to play with it. You can come over to retouching. From retouching, it'll show you source image. Yeah, that's right. You're on my drill. It'll show, you can change the source image over here, and then you can literally come over here and paint that source image. You can paint it in. Like if it's more in focus over here, then you just come over to the area that you wanna fix and paint like it's Photoshop or anything else. I'm not going to use this stack. So for instance, let's say, wow, it sounds like I'm farting on my trackpad. So see, I'm painting that left image onto the right image. You can zoom in dramatically. You can do... Well, that's not what that was supposed to do. There we go, undo brush. So I'll zoom in on this a little bit. Come on, don't be a bitch. Do what you're told. Please do what you're told. Okay, so apparently keyboard functions don't work here. So it looks like crap on here. You can't even really tell that's an alien Suka. You can kind of tell where these lips are. They have flat points on them, so you can kind of tell it's polished. And you can't really see the 42 gauge. So all in all, really not happy about it, but that's how you do it. So what I will probably do now is vape in frustration, and then I will reshoot. Generally speaking, it does not take me anywhere near 135 minutes and 30 seconds to get one stack done. So yeah, that's pretty much where I'm at. Um, I will send this to my phone, do my simple edits on it because it looks like shit. But I'm gonna do my simple edits on it, and I'll put it up on Instagram. Probably in the next 15 minutes or so. I'll tag the team in it, so if anybody's not following me, if you go to search and go to click on tags or hashtags on the top of it, and click the resistance is here, then you should, or type rather, the resistance is here. It should bring you almost immediately to it because it should be pretty pretty much the newest one from the team who's always going to use that. So I will, oh, I should probably actually save it to my computer. Wow, the ghosting on that is horrible. It might be okay. It's not going to be up to my par. But you can actually see the polish on it, which is good, and a little bit of polish on the 42. Cool. So it might be an all right image after editing, but I'm not a fan of just the raw stack itself. Oh damn! It's about 2:15. I don't know if I'm actually gonna do this tonight then. Let's see. I'm also gonna name the image live stack. I wish I could have music playing and YouTube wouldn't immediately delete the video. That'd be nice. Actually, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna just post it exactly how it is. No retouching, no editing, no anything. It's gonna be just the stack the way that it came out. So prepare to see my least liked picture ever posted to Instagram. Of course, my tiny ass. Yeah, it's very difficult for me to build live at all if I'm not on Instagram. Uh, if I'm on Instagram, I can play whatever the hell I want, and they'll even let me save the video for 24 hours. They don't seem to care. YouTube, you can have barely audible music playing, and they will copyright infringement your ass so fucking fast. It's like you do realize that it's not copyright infringement like to walk past somebody playing a CD that they bought. Yeah, for some reason you can't do anything on YouTube anymore. If there if you didn't have to fucking pay to stream on Twitch and like have a fucking Vimeo or expensive ass other form of stream account, uh, I'm sorry. I love you guys. I already put a lot of fucking money into this hobby. I'm not putting a fuckload more money into it so that I can share videos with music on them. They left one on that Neil Young was loud and prominent. Go figure. That's well. The thing is, there's they can probably because even my braid tutorial, um, my braid tutorial has what I believed was Creative Commons use music on it, right? Because it's created in essentially the app that is made for GoPro, uh, or made by GoPro or whatever for their video editing. So it comes with all this music on it, right? That you can attach to it, or you can go into iTunes and like buy music to put on it. So my real question there is, if I go and buy a song off of iTunes to put on a video and then I upload it to Facebook, are you still gonna say it's copyright infringement? Or not Facebook, but YouTube? Are you still gonna say it's copyright? I'm sure Facebook would do it too because they're owned by the same fuckers now. Uh, or no, Instagram is owned by Facebook. That was a lie. Uh, but yeah, like it makes no fucking sense to me. It's not like I'm going live to play music for my Patreon supporters. That would be copyright infringement, right? That would be like me playing a tape I made of the Super Bowl last year and charging everybody $5 a head to get in. That would be an issue. But when you're not using the music to like promote yourself, or you're not stealing the music and saying that you made it, like it's utter bullshit to me. It makes no fucking sense. But the video that I did, the 7 loop Celtic tutorial that's over on my channel and is linked here, uh, you'll get ads before it. You know why? Because of the cheesy fucking 80 porno sounding track that I put on it that I got from Stitch or whatever the hell it is that GoPro's thing uses. And it makes no damn sense whatsoever. Especially if I were to put down like in the description of the video, like none of the music on this broadcast is owned by me. It was played from this station on Pandora Radio. It shouldn't be an issue at all, but it is. All right, well, I've got that image emailed to myself on my phone now. So what I am gonna do for, let's see, yeah, well, still the thing is they're putting ads up and they monetize the video so that they can pay the people that own that song. Because I don't get shit. Yeah, so I'm gonna just chill for the next 5 minutes. If anybody has any questions about photography in general, or shooting with your cell phone, uh, let me know. Now is the time. Um, Other than now, you can always DM me. But yeah, after another 4 minutes, I'm just going to cut this and then post the raw stack to Instagram. Then I'll edit the stack and post the edit so you guys can see what it looks like, essentially straight out of the camera, and then versus how it's edited. Yeah, it's fucking retarded, Juan. It's you shouldn't on a free streaming service, right? Number one, you shouldn't expect to not see ads. How the fuck do they make money? Uh, However, on a free streaming service, you shouldn't be subjected to such like rigid, stupid ass policies, such as if any music is on your video at all whatsoever, and we can't monetize it for the people that own that music, we're just gonna pull your video, give you a strike. Two more of those within the year, and it's your channel's gone. We're not gonna host your content. 30% super chat fee. What? Bruh. That's fucked up. Do I have slow chat on, by the way? Anybody that's not a paid member? Does it say when you are typing? Does it say in parentheses next to say something slow mode or anything like that? Or does it just say something dot dot dot? Good, because if it was on fucking slow mode, yeah, I'd be calling fucking YouTube tomorrow. Because you'll notice on the vape team, on a couple of other shows that are monetized YouTube channels, when you go to type, it'll say slow mode is on, and it's got a little dollar symbol off to the side. If you donate over a certain amount, you can chat more. Because that's what all this is about. Which is why I have a Patreon account, and my own personal channel is trying to be monetized, and the team channel is monetized, and none of that is real because I don't give a fuck if I make a penny off of YouTube my entire fucking life. That's not what I'm trying to do. Yeah, see, that's fucked up. That's fucked up. So they're making the AdSense money off of you, and then on top of that, they're going to charge you for other people to support you. Oh man. YouTube is owned by Google. Should be the only knowledge you need on that. If we monetize the channel, I'll never post on it again. I won't go live. I won't upload. Fuck all. If you guys decide to do a Patreon account or something, I'll accept that. But actually monetizing and AdSensing the channel, fuck that. Like hard pass. Hard pass. Hell no. Because in doing so, any fraction of money that we make, YouTube makes a fuckload more, and all they do is shit on the content creators that allow them to have the fucking videos to put the goddamn AdSense ads on. But yeah, I'm not gonna get into that. It's been the 5 minutes. Love you guys. I'm gonna post this shit so that I can go to bed, so that I can be at work in 7 hours. So, love you guys. If you have any other questions, feel free to hit me up. Uh, Hopefully, maybe you learned something. Maybe you didn't. Maybe you just had fun hanging out, talking, shooting the shit, and watching me horribly fail at trying to stack photos live. Love you guys. Always appreciate the support. Make sure that you go over to adoreeliquid.com. Uh, I would I would say use either Pink Pussy or Use Guys, YOUZGUYZ, to get 10% off over to Dory Liquid. And get yourself some Dark Horse. You won't regret it at all. Guarantee you that. It is fucking delicious. Or get any flavor that Dawn has made, and you won't be disappointed. Love you guys. I'll see you next time. Take it easy.